Hi, it's Ryan from Ryan Fowler Photography, and in this video I'll be sharing my thoughts and reviewing the Canon EOS R5 after 2 months of full-time use. So let's get into it. When the R5 first started to ship, I was one of the lucky ones to get one in the first delivery. Since then, I've been using the camera as my primary camera in all of my commercial and personal work for both photo and video. Through use, the camera has over 10,000 images captured on it, as well as a lot of video in a wide range of formats. You will be seeing a video sometime soon that I've been filming in 8K RAW as much as I could to really put the camera through its paces. So make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you don't miss when that video gets released. If you want to know what I think of the camera in just a few words, it's great and it serves its purpose incredibly well. Keep watching though for a closer look and some real world experience that I'm about to share. After the first month of owning one R5, I got a call from my local camera store, Wade's World in Coolangatta, to say that he had one in stock and it was at a very good price. From what I had experienced already, I ended up getting a second body, which completed my kit. I personally prefer to have 2 cameras when I work or travel because it opens up a range of possibilities. For not having to switch lens when shooting stills at events, having one camera for video and another for stills, and quite a few other reasons. So let's talk about the cameras. The autofocus is excellent. It's fast, it's accurate, and it tracks beautifully. There's a small piece I filmed at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, where I talk a bit more about it later in this video. Second thing is the image quality. Low light performance is very good, especially for a 45 megapixel camera. The results are sharp and quite a bit of flexibility to them. More on that coming up too. Now, it would be hard to talk about a Canon R series camera without talking about the lenses. I use the holy trinity of RF lenses, being the 15-35, 24-70 and 70-200 2.8s. One of the biggest things you can do in photography to change up your look is change your lenses. And the quality of what Canon has delivered in the RF lineup is simply exceptional. There is no need to calibrate lenses or worry about one being soft at wide open apertures. There is a beautiful crispness to the results, and if this trend continues for the future development of the lineup, it is going to be a big advantage to Canon. With the Cinema EOS C70 and Red Komodo cameras now using the RF mount, it is going to be the way that Canon push forward in mirrorless development. I'm just going to mention this in here as well, although I think it's kind of expected at this point. The ergonomics are great, with a nice deep grip and easy to use layout of the controls. There's no faults in how the camera handles, especially because I've got slightly bigger hands. One thing that is a slight bugbear is the screen. 90% of the time it's excellent and easy to see. The other 10% though, usually when in bright daylight, can sometimes be a bit tricky to see. Usually I'll just turn away and use my shadow to cover the screen, which is an easy fix, but it's just something to note. The last 2 things I just want to touch on before we get into the autofocus part are the battery life and IBIS. I have been on several full day shoots doing photo and video and have used about 2 to 3 batteries. I have 4 batteries just in case there is a bit more of a workload on the video side, which does use more power. But overall, I have to say, for a mirrorless camera, the quality is just amazing that it's producing. It handles very, very well. I do recommend taking more batteries than you think you need though, as having backups is better than missing shots. The IBIS works incredibly well. For example, I took the R5 with a 24-70 in a helicopter, which was very bumpy, filming and taking stills. When I brought the clips into Premiere Pro to watch and review, I was pleasantly surprised in how stable the clips actually were. With a touch of warp stabilizer on a couple of them, the results look amazing. And we were in a really shaky heli. I have seen handheld footage from the Panasonic GH5 before, which is praised for how good the IBIS is. And from my testing and experience, the R5 is on par with it. And that will hopefully give you an idea of how good it really is, especially for handheld movement shots. One thing I do wish Canon would implement though, is the ability to turn it off from the menu system. It can be too strong when put on a gimbal especially, where just the lens stabilization would be well and truly enough. The occasional wobble at 15mm does appear from time to time, which is a bit annoying. I am running the latest firmware as well. Now that we've covered quite a bit in there, I want to say that what has been done with the camera is excellent. If you're on the fence about buying one and you shoot professionally for both photo and video, or you just want excellent image quality with fast focus and high frame per second shooting, then it would be hard to bypass the R5. Now keep watching as we go to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary for more on the autofocus, and then we go to the studio and take a look at the post-processing side, which I'll delve a little bit more into the quality of the stills and the video, including what it's like to process them. I just want to jump in here and say I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, hit that like button. It's really helpful for the channel. Also, the travel photography preset pack is available now. You can find out all the details in the link down below in the description. It features 30 images from all across Australia and the world, which gives you a great starting point for your images or that creative look that you might not get in your normal editing workflow. If you'd like to get the preset pack, check the link in the description down below. Now let's get back to the video. We've come to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary and we're in the bird aviary at the moment just to show you a little bit about and share some of what the autofocus is like in the R5. I've been testing it here using a bit of 8K video just to see what the quality is like, as well as some 4K 120 slow motion footage. And these lorikeets and several different breeds of birds in the aviary are very fast, very nimble, but the autofocus is keeping up incredibly well in both stills and video. Now, there was one question of how I've set up the autofocus on the camera. And when it's in, or when I'm actually holding the camera, I've set this top dial here to be able to turn and actually change what mode the autofocus goes into, whether it's face tracking or single, or basically go through the range of autofocus modes. How I've set up my initial autofocus point. There's a few different options to do in the camera, but what I've done is I've set up an initial point for autofocus when it's in face tracking mode. So it's got a little box that I can move around using the joystick. By the way, the joystick is something that you have to enable before it actually works. It doesn't come enabled straight out of the box, which is a little bit odd. But once you do enable it and you've got this initial point AF, you've got a small box on the screen. And sorry about the noise, I know that the birds are loud, it must be getting close to feeding time. With the initial autofocus point, you can put that over your subject, hold the AF on button to start your autofocus tracking, and that will be your tracked subject. So it's basically a very, very advanced focus and recompose method that you can set your initial point. If it's a person, it will track their face. If they're close enough, it will track their eye. It's very, very ingenious the way that this algorithm is really running for the autofocus system. Once you've got that focus point tracking, you can move around, focus, recompose, do what you need to do. And I found this to be a very beneficial way of running the autofocus system on the camera. I have to say that the eye autofocus on the camera performs very, very well. It, for people, tracks really, really well. It sticks like glue, and the algorithm that's running it seems to be doing a fantastic job. Animals also sticks like glue. It can have a couple of little jolts here and there depending on what animal you're photographing. But if I've got it set to animals, and right now in the bird aviary, like I'm looking at a rainbow lorikeet and some scaly-breasted lorikeets flying around. You might even, hopefully one doesn't hit me in the head flying past. It sticks very, very well to their eyes. And it's also worked on koalas, kangaroos, and quite a number of animals inside the sanctuary. Now that we have talked about the in the field stuff, let's talk about files and post-processing. I'm going to start with the still images, as this is what the camera is meant to truly be, a stills camera with excellent video features. At 45 megapixels being an upgrade from the EOS R, the resolution is more than enough for the large majority of people. It works great for a wide range of applications as you would expect from a 5 series camera. You can comfortably use this for studio photography, portraits, landscapes, wedding, travel, sports, and pretty much whatever else you can think of. There's not much that this camera would miss a beat on. With brilliant autofocus, as I just explained from Currumbin Sanctuary, for stills, this camera, in my opinion, is pretty hard to beat. It even has good low light performance, and that is a major plus in my book. If we look at the files from within Lightroom, there is quite a lot of flexibility, especially with shadow recovery. Highlights can sometimes be a little bit harder to bring back than some other cameras' RAW files, so just something to be aware of. But don't get me wrong, there is still a lot of flexibility within these files. Otherwise, I can't fault the quality of images. If you are interested in file sizes, Canon has done what I feel to be a pretty good job of managing them. Of course, they are roughly between 45 to 52 megabytes per file, but for the resolution and detail, I'm okay with that. I mean, Fujifilm RAW files that I've been used to from the X-T3 average at about 55 megabytes, so what Canon has done is fine by me. And of course, we have to talk about the video files. Even from editing this video, the quality of the video results are fantastic. There is heaps of room to move in processing with excellent detail and color rendition. Some of the other videos on my channel that have sequences made from the R5 have looked great. If you get a chance to look at some of the videos filmed on the R5 and another camera on a TV, I have found that the C-Log footage has an edge over everything else. I can't tell you exactly what it is, it just appeals to me more. There is, however, a downside to the video, and that is the new codec that Canon has used for 10-bit C-Log. H.265 is incredibly hard for pretty much every computer to decode, which means editing the direct footage can be pretty painful. Working in proxies makes it a whole lot easier, but does add time to the overall editing. A weird thing though, the 8K RAW footage that you've seen in this video, I found my computer actually handled it very, very well. I believe the reason for that is that when Premiere Pro decodes the RAW footage, it actually brings it into an H.264 codec, which is what my computer handles very well. I will do more testing on that though in future. That doesn't mean I'm going to be filming everything in 8K RAW, which is a bit excessive. But it's good for me to know that I can do that if needed with the computer being able to handle it. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit that like button, comment down below if you've got questions about the R5 and it's something you would like to know before purchasing or maybe before receiving yours. Leave a comment down below, ask the question, and if enough people ask it, I'll include it in my next video on the R5 or incorporate it into another video. Otherwise, I'll try and answer it in the comments. I'm trying to read a lot of the comments, and if I can answer you, I will certainly do my best to do so. So hit that subscribe button with the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. See you in the next one.